together. Okay? But the other thing you can always do with an entrepreneur, other thing we always can do with an entrepreneur, we never need to know the answer. Because we tell the entrepreneur, go find the person who can give you the answer. All right? It's the entrepreneur's responsibility. Go ahead, keep going.
I mean, the discussion would bring you in different point of view. That's what I'm saying about, like the deep scan get money. So the way they get money, so they have to present the proposal that is have a market side, is have industrial possibilities, and actually the agency that have the money or the grants, they actually already explore the market. That's what I'm saying.
So,
maybe you know more in depth, but yeah, the Bank is not the only one who developed that. Technologies, they are worldwide more than that, because last couple 2 months. 2 months before, so I went there. So they are Korean researchers that already developed those kind of technologies as well. So it maybe you know how they get the money is more than me, but
yeah. So one of the we're going down probably a pathway that we don't want to go down here. Well, at least I don't want us to go down here. But I mean, one of the challenges of grant money in Thailand is the people making decisions about market size are also scientists, right? If Thailand Research Fund are scientists making decisions on, so let's just leave the discussion of what's in place and talk about how we might teach this, okay? By the way, you're right, that technology is not new. That was another problem. And one of the reasons we developed this business model, this deep scan project was done 10 years ago. So he's been lingering for a long, long time, okay? 10 years ago is when one of my business students did that business plan with him. And that's why we did the rural model, because one advantage that Thailand has is the rural need. So there are people who are doing the cervical cancer probes in big, expensive hospitals in the US, in Japan, in Korea. So we actually thought that the unique part of that wasn't the technology, but the business model, okay? And so that's where, in Thailand, we have a huge opportunity, not of necessarily being the cutting edge technology producer, but being the people that can create technology that can be reaching further out into more important areas of the population. By the way, you know who does this very, very well? India. And I've always thought Thailand should be a little bit more like India. India has done an excellent job getting middle-level technology available out into the village level. And it's a huge, I believe, a huge missed opportunity in Thailand. In my experience with the Ministry of Science, we tend to be too closely aligned to the MITs and the Imperials and the Stanfords and have dreams of being like that. But our problems aren't the problems of Cambridge and San Francisco. And so I've really preferred more like what things happen in India. We're surrounded by not only 70 million people in Thailand, but 400 million people in CLMVT, I can never get the letters right, okay? About 400 million people there who all have similar needs, whether those needs are climate, agriculture, disease, tropical disease, flooding, poverty, education. I think we have a much stronger opportunity. I'm speaking entrepreneurship now and innovation. We have a much stronger opportunity taking mid-level technologies and getting them out to those 400 million people. Okay, so that's how I would urge us to consider, just as an idea, if you see that as an opportunity. Okay, so these are great questions, and I'm glad it's come out. I hope we bring this out even further. But use your materials. The one main message from this is use your actual projects to become your teaching materials next time around, okay? So that the students create the materials. It's not just to make it easy on the Ajahn. That was a joke, not the main reason. But more importantly, we're creating materials that are useful to our communities, whatever community we're in, okay? Because if we're working on business models that are appropriate to our community and we keep building those up, we have a great chance for success. Okay? So let's go back. I want to make sure, I think we're running close to time. Ooh, a little bit over. I just want to make sure we understand the process I went through. You were taught 2 frameworks today. Okay? What were the 2 frameworks? Well, one was this one, right? And you could pull the book out. You could have your students pull the book out and get this framework. There was another one, Porter's 5 Forces, which I didn't really teach, but I had some help. You could pull that out. That's in almost any standard strategy book. But what I want to get everyone to recognize is I didn't start with any slides. Right? I didn't start the session and say, all right, first of all, here are Porter's 5 Forces. Second, here is a framework, now let's use it. Instead, we turned it around. We jumped right in and tried to do something. Okay? And I just believe this is a very powerful way of teaching. We call it activity-based. Okay? And by the way, I believe you can do it with any discipline. I believe you can do it with accounting, finance, certainly marketing, engineering, science, any discipline. Start with a problem, get people jumping into it, and now your role becomes more a role of coach, not technical expert, but a coach, okay? If somebody gets stuck, it's not your job to give them the answer, it's your job to encourage them to find the person who can give the answer, okay? And in finding that out, then afterward, if you are in a summary situation, then you can say, here are the frameworks that I have found valuable that you can use, okay? So I want us to be aware of that kind of technique. This is how I teach all my courses. Start out with an activity, and by the way, a case study is an activity. Start out with a discussion that gets people thinking, and then I conclude with whatever framework or theory that I wanted us to learn that we could extrapolate more generally, okay? So that was the first main message I wanted us to get from this. And the second thing is, that material, this case, came from all projects that came out of either courses or accelerator. I urge you to create your own materials from your own situation because it becomes much more valuable to the students that you're teaching because it's something relevant to them. Okay? Any questions on that? All right. Let's have lunch. We start again at 1. And when we get into 1, Ajahn and Jill will be talking about the difference between corporate finance and entrepreneurial finance. Enjoy your lunch.
ฮัลโหล สวัสดีครับมีเรื่องแจ้งให้ทราบนะครับ อย่างแรกสำหรับอาจารย์นะครับที่จะเบิกค่าเดินทางกับค่าที่พักนะครับ สามารถยื่นกับคุณนายนาเจ้าหน้าที่สวัฒนด้านหลังนะครับภายในวันนี้นะครับหรือไม่ก็วันพุธนะครับ แล้วก็เรื่องอาหารกลางวันนะครับเชิญที่ชั้น1นะครับจะมีห้องรับประทานอาหารกลางวันออกจากลิฟต์แล้วก็เลี้ยวซ้ายไปสุดเลยมีห้องรับประทานอาหารกลางวันนะครับห้องน้ำอยู่ด้านหลังของท่านเป็นห้องน้ำแนวใหม่อาจจะหายากนิดนึงแล้วก็สามารถแสดงบัตรจอดรถได้ที่จุดลงทะเบียนนะครับเดี๋ยวเชิญรับประทานอาหารกลางวันเลยครับ